All right, welcome back. We've done it, boys. The Hawks, we won. Welcome back. We're going to talk a lot of Hawks today, but we'll talk about the other teams as well. But I'm going to get right to Brody. He dressed up extra nice for y'all. Fresh off the Seahawks. Domination of the 49ers. I don't even want to call it a game because it wasn't a game. Brody, what's up?
Some people they said, Brody, it's a divisional matchup against your rivals. You're taking this a little too lightly here. I think you're underestimating the 49ers here. I think you're being a little too, as the kids say, nonchalant. So I stand here in front of you all today in the most nonchalant fit I have with my cigar here because I was right. The Seahawks stomped all over the Niners. It was, as I said, as long as the Seahawks just execute on just a normal level, they don't even have to do anything too crazy. We would have handled the Niners easily, and that's exactly what we did. The Niners had no chance, literally from the moment the game started. Rashid Shaheed, the Shaheed Quake. I don't know. I mean, we're still workshopping that name. Okay, there could be different things that we could call it, but the Shaheed Quake completely just like as soon as that happened, you just knew the game was dead. And they had nothing for us. McCaffrey, that's basically their entire game plan to open up was okay, McCaffrey wasn't going to work. He's washed. He's not good enough. Defense completely clamped him. They had nothing for us. It was funny watching all of their coaches, their players just cry, and then go on after the game, still crying even more. I've never seen a bunch of just salty losers like the 49ers, man. And you know what I love about it is that not only just us, not only the rest of the NFC West, the entire NFL we just saw the 49ers for what they are. Just a bunch of salty, whiny babies. They got their asses handed to them again by us for the second time in, 3 weeks? It was another great day at the office, and I will say I'm not going to be this nonchalant for the NFC Championship, but for the divisional, was never worried. They never had a reason to be worrying, in my opinion. And yeah, just like that, moving on.
It's kind of crazy. So I was I don't remember the exact stat, but it's something like Kyle Shanahan has been kept under 7 points offensively 4 times as a coach, and 2 of them have been by the Hawks. And it's like, dude, we own their poverty franchise. Like, I don't care how much electromagnetic waves, whatever the heck is through your training facility. They could have had Superman powering the substation. Sorry. They could have had Superman powering them up, and they would have had no chance. Literally, in that game, Sam Darnold could have stayed at home, took a nap. The entire offense didn't have to show up to the game. We literally just needed special teams and defense, and we would have won that game. You could just tell it was over from the start. And it was so different from last time we played, but not really, where it was like we absolutely dominated them, but then we put the nail in the coffin right from the start of the game. Like last time we played them, I know you guys did it, but at halftime I had that feeling, we're like, they could still get back in it. It was like 8 game minutes into this game, and I'm like, okay, what jersey am I wearing to the NFC Championship? Like, wasn't even in doubt. And it was just
yeah, it was basically like it was honestly like it. I mean, to a worse degree, but it was like if last game had we executed like
that's exactly what it was.
Properly. That's exactly
what it was. It was that Super Bowl against the Broncos. It was copy and paste that Super Bowl against the Broncos. Like never in doubt.
Point differential. Yep.
Same. I mean, we're celebrating literally like the game kicked off at 3:30. We were celebrating by 4:00. Never in doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Fatty. Fatty, what were your thoughts on the game?
No, I mean it was definitely a shock. I knew that we had a really good chance to win. I didn't have any doubts there, but obviously not as lopsided as the score came out to be. Rashid Shaheed getting us started with a awesome kick 6 there, but really just our defense proving to be the most dominant force in the National Football League. We've seen a lot of great playoff games this year. Actually, I believe it's 6 out of 8 of them have been one possession. or in the last 3 minutes, there's been some lead changes within the last 3 minutes of 6 of 8 playoff games, but this was definitely a boring one for a national audience, and it really put Seattle, I think, on note, or on watch from a national standpoint. Everyone knew that we had a great season. Sam Darnold has got that narrative of just kind of a regular season merchant. He's never won a playoff game. Sam Fran went to Philly, hard fought win. You think maybe, even though they don't have Kittle, maybe they can hang in there. But they just ran out of gas. And it was unfortunate for them to lose George Kittle and obviously have Christian McCaffrey banged up, not having Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa. But at the same time, I really think the only people that would have really changed the narrative of the game would have been Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. I just think that the Seahawks have the 49ers number, regardless of who's on the field on offense. Brock Purdy was finally neutralized at Lumen Field. It's his first loss in Lumen Field. He looked like shit. He had a couple throws just off his back foot that were complete luck. But yeah, it was wonderful. It was nice to see Sam out there. We were really worried all the way up until kickoff if we were going to see Sam Darnold at 100%. I don't think he was at 100%. If I had to guess, he's probably at 80% there. But still making some crucial throws. That back end touchdown rolling to his left to hit Jackson Smith and Jigba in the corner. That was like peak vintage Tyler Lockett-esque catch. And the emergence of Kenneth Walker finally scoring a touchdown, and not just one, but 3. He had a great game. I anticipate him, I know we're going to preview the NFC Championship, but I anticipate him to be carrying that performance over against Los Angeles. But it was a great way to, I think, and I hate to be as cocky, I like to stay on the humble side, but I think the Seattle Seahawks just ended the San Francisco 49ers championship window. I don't know where they go from here. It seems like Brandon Ayuk was healthy enough to play, but has not been with the team since, middle of last season. So I think it's over. I think it's safe to say it's over. Who knows how long our window is, but it's open. So.
Yeah, it's nice to finally put an end to the what if the Niners had a Ricky Pearsall gimmick. It was fun while it lasted, but I mean, honestly, there was maybe a point, and of course not me, because I'm the nonchalant final boss, and there's no point where I was worried. But there was a point where Brock Purdy was, they were just barely threading the needle on several throws, just like barely scraping by, and it just you knew that if that's the way you have to move the football, you got to roll out to the right. Granted, it was a good play by Brock Purdy. Like, he sees the guy going across the field, got to roll out to the right, do a 360 pass across your body, across the middle of the field. If you got to do that to move the ball on us, it's going to be a long day. And that's exactly what it was. And I love that. I will say, it's not like the 49ers were healthy, obviously, missing a lot of big names. But it's just funny because, there's 3 dudes, that, in my opinion, that actually, make their roster better that are injured, which is George Kittle, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa. But they bring up, all these injuries, as if, dude, Brandon Ayuk, I'm sorry, dude. He just basically ruined he's got a bionic knee now. Doesn't want to play football for you guys. If you had Brandon Ayuk, it really doesn't change a thing. And all the other dudes, I mean, you guys were crying about, Ricky Pearsall. He actually hurt them. As a matter of fact, dropped a big catch, I think, on 3rd down. Yeah, the Niners, they're the kings of they talk the most shit going in the game, and they lose bad. Probably one of the most embarrassing losses in their franchise's history. And then all the excuses. We were hurt, this, that. They're so weak, and everybody knows they're weak, and I'm just glad the entire NFL got to see it on full display. It's we all knew the Niners were weak, but this just really is the lowest of the low. And like Fatty says, and I tend to agree, George Kittle's going to be, 33 next season. Bosa, Warner are going to be in their 30s. Williams, as great as he is, and he did make a difference for them. Purdy had a lot more time. Ultimately, didn't matter, but he's going to be 39, 40 years old. So their windows, maybe it's not technically all the way close, but it's basically over. And with their recent drafting history, I mean, you could literally compare side by side, the Seahawks draft since 2022 and the Niners. They've maybe drafted a handful of players that actually contribute, maybe. I have no confidence in their drafting. They've just poured a ton of money into Brock Mitty, and they have a lot of key guys that are old. It's just I think they know it's starting to close. But yeah, I think we officially kind of just put an end to the 49ers failed dynasty, I guess. Their dynasty of losing in the Super Bowl, I guess. I don't know.
Did Diamador Lenore state claims on the craziest and dumbest claim ever after the game? Did you see what he said about? He said that if they were healthy, they would have beat the Seahawks in a landslide. Now, if we would have won like 21-17, okay, fair play. Dude, you played 8 seconds of competitive football before the game was over. 8 seconds of competitive football. And you're trying to say you would have won in a landslide. He gets the golden star for the dumbest claim after the game I've ever seen.
I'm sure Fred Warner. I just want to say, I'm sure Fred Warner would have made a heck of a special teams play on that first opening play of the game.
Well, he was the game changer when he came down from the booth and went down on the sideline. He changed the game, and I'm happy they emphasize it so much because that really was when you could see the game shift. That's when it went from being a beating to legitimate murder. So
can we just say real quick, have we ever seen a worse athlete talk as much shit as Diamador Lenore? Like, he's at best he's okay, and he just talks like he's like it reminds me of imagine if Josh Norman was just like mid and got cooked.
Well, I was thinking of Commanders Josh Norman. That's what comes to my head is he signs the big deal.
Commanders Josh Norman is levels above this guy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I've never seen such a chihuahua talk so much shit. It's insane. And you know what the funniest part is that you know what pisses him off the most is he tries so hard to get into Jason's head, and Jason could not be bothered. Literally couldn't be less bothered. And he makes it easy for him to not be bothered because he's terrible. But he just couldn't be bothered, and it pisses him off so bad. Like,
what's funny too is he could have clamped JSN that whole game. JSN didn't need to do anything, and we still would have been straight BTA that whole game.
Dude, JSN barely had to run a single route, and the one meaningful route that he had against – there's actually 2 routes. One, he beat him and caught the ball. Second of all, he beat him, but Sam didn't find him in the end zone. It was in the first quarter, I think one of our first drives. Yeah. Diamador Lenore completely fucking bites on Cooper Kupp. JSN's wide open back at the end zone. We don't hit that, but just people who have watched the game just knows it. He barely had to do anything. We had 17 fucking pass attempts, and on the limited sample size – you got cooked. And it's so funny. That's the meme where it's I'm going to leave here with something. That's what Niner fans do. And they're like, Diamador Lenore snaps in coverage, 2 targets. And I'm like, we had 17 pass attempts, dude. 17.
Which is crazy because it was the most glorified story ever how hurt Darnold was. Oh, let's tell you more that we're not going to pass the ball today. And they still just had no answer. What are we doing? But the Seahawks so played into it too. It's the Seahawks knew the media was all talking about Sam Darnold. If you look at our social media all leading up to the game, we're who's gonna play? Who's gonna play? Who's gonna play? Sam Darnold could have thrown it with his left hand and we still would have won that game.
Right. Yeah. Last but not least, before we preview the NFC Championship, I did see a soundbite of Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold meeting in the middle, and Brock Purdy said, "Go win the whole thing." You think he meant that, or is that just kind of
I think so because they were teammates at one point.
Yeah.
So probably really cool.
That's crazy. Personally, if Sam Darnold said that to Brock Purdy, I would be fucking pissed.
I feel like nowadays players don't really care as much. I'm glad that, which we'll get onto from later. I'm glad that a lot of our players seem to care a lot about the rivalry now. It seems like a lot of players just nowadays in general don't care as much. Which back
it depends
in the day,
on the player too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to see some of our guys care about it as much, but obviously that's not the case for Brock Purdy. And I think he just said that just because Sam's his buddy. They were.
It's all context too. If he would have said it, if Sam Darnold was just some dude that's been on the Seahawks for 4 years, but they were teammates, literally 2 years ago, like you said, where it's Sam Darnold's whole job 2 years ago was to make sure Brock Purdy was as good as possible. And so it kind of makes sense why.
But I also agree with Fatty. Even if Sam and Brock were you don't have to say go win the whole thing. Just be good job, good game.
Yeah.
Well, it makes them look better because if they lose 41-6 to a team that gets beat in the NFC Championship, it looks significantly worse.
Win the whole thing, please, and actually kill everybody else on the way, so we don't look as bad. Fair enough.
But
that's all they got, really.
Dude, comparing this game to the Eagles game, me and Fatty look stupid for being kind of scared of the Eagles because how bad are the Eagles to have gotten beat by this team?
Fatty was not.
No.
Fatty was not.
Was it you?
No, I wasn't.
The Eagles were, in my opinion, the second. Like I was like, okay,
That's where it was.
I wasn't really scared. The Rams are the team that out of all of them, I'm like, okay, this is a real could be 60-40, 50-50. But the Eagles were the next team where I'm like, they've just been there. They just won the Super Bowl. They got basically the same core. They lost a few guys. So that's like the only reason why I was really kind of worried about them. But again, I still think we would have beat them, if we played them. But now Fatty was all like the Eagles are trash. And he was right. They are trash.
Yeah.
So
Fatty-
are the Bears. Fatty.
Yeah.
Once again, Fatty knows
Bears
ball.
suck.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we look back at the brackets one last time, I almost had a perfect AFC, and my NFC was close. The Bears just fell short in overtime against Los Angeles, so Los Angeles will be coming to Seattle to see who goes to the Super Bowl. The third game in the Epic Trilogy. They took game 1 in LA. We obviously won that awesome Thursday night football game a few weeks ago. That doesn't seem like it seems like forever ago, but it was really not that long ago. But yeah, the Rams are obviously a formidable opponent. They haven't, in my opinion, looked as sharp as they have all season. So, they really struggled against the Panthers, kind of escaped that. They had to go into a really harsh environment at Soldier Field against Caleb Williams, who kind of emerged as a legitimate quarterback option in Chicago. They had a great year. Excited to see what they can do next year in our rearview mirror. I mean, obviously rooting for the Seahawks here, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. But after our performance at home and just to see the stadium rocking, I mean, we were going years with, when the 49ers came to town and they had that really long win streak against us at home, we were seeing a lot of red in the crowd. And even as people were starting to file into that game last Saturday, you saw a lot of red in the crowd. And we were like, oh God, is this going to be a 50-50 neutral site game? But Seattle was rocking in a way that we haven't seen since 2013, 2014. I anticipate the energy staying there. And yeah, it's gonna be a tight one, but I really am confident. The way the Seahawks have been playing, it's almost like they were good all year, but then when they came back, when they were down 30-14, something switched in this team on offense, on defense, on special teams to where they became great. I don't know what it was, but it was just right when that happened. This team has been on another octave. It is absolutely insane, and I am ready to hopefully hoist the what is it? It's the Hallis Trophy, and get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, obviously, as you can see, I've kind of ended the nonchalant gimmick here because this is, like we said in every preview in the playoffs, this is the one team. Like this is the second best team in the NFL still. And I know it's crazy to say, given their struggles against the Bears defense. Granted, playoff game on the road, bad conditions, and then obviously their struggles against the Panthers defensively. This is still the second best team in football, in my opinion. I think whoever wins this game will go and win the Super Bowl. So we're going to take them very, very seriously. And I will say, there's a part of me which, I will say at this level, like at just this level of sports, no matter who you play, you're going to give 100%. But there is that thing about this team, just in rivalries in general. You're hosting one of your biggest rivals in a game of this magnitude. Like, it just means a little bit more. You know what I mean? Of course, even if we had the Bears, the boys would go up. They would show up. They would show out. But when it's the Rams, dude, like it just hits that a little bit different. And so I would say that's kind of the only positive for me, is that I feel like with this being a divisional matchup, the boys are just going to be that extra bit fired up. But this really is a game that could go, I don't want to say 50-50 with how we've been playing, but it's a game that could, 55-45, 60-40.
I mean, looking at Vegas, looking at what Vegas has the odds at, it's pretty safe to say that. The line dropped at Hawks 2.5 point favorites and minus 155. Like, this game is on a knife's edge. And I will say, adding on to what you said, I think one thing that can be scary is we got a bye week, and then we played a non-competitive game where the Seahawks have had a problem this year in the first half, coming out very, on a bit of a lull. And I feel like that'd be very easy coming off of the last 2 weeks of football. The fact we're playing the Rams, that won't happen. Like, the boys will be fired up. Puka will be trash talking the whole game, probably say something stupid and get himself canceled again. And we'll all be riled up. And I was kind of thinking if we play the Bears, there would be that little bit of, especially from the fan base, that, looking ahead to the Super Bowl. And I don't think that'll happen with the Rams. I think this stadium will be extra, extra rocking. And I think that the Seahawks are going to go out there and they're going to win. They're going to find a way to win this game.
I also feel like there's a big difference between us and San Fran and us in Los Angeles. I feel like us, our rivalry with the Rams is more of a gentleman's rivalry. I haven't really heard much disrespect toward either side. I think our side really remains respectful, even to the 49ers. But also, it's kind of hard to hate the Rams at some point because they are a really good team. They're well built. They're they have one of the best coaches in football. So I think, if we played the Bears, I think it would be really easy to overlook them, and that might sting us. But we've done our homework with the Rams just as much as they've done on us. So I think the main points of, a path to victory, a path to Super Bowl 60 is going to be we sound like a broken record here. Sam Darnold, you need to keep the ball in our hands on offense, and you need to consistently score, because if I know one thing about the Los Angeles Rams is they can score at a moment's notice. They're going to have Devontae Adams back. He is a little shaken up. He was shooken up last week, but he is going to be a difference maker in the passing game with Puka Nacua, of course. And so it's going to be important to, really capitalize on offense and keep this turnover free. Because when we're turnover free, we're damn near perfect playing on offense and defense. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you look at the skews of if Sam throws 2 or more picks versus if he goes turnover free, how this team performs as a whole.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because the Rams defense is definitely miles ahead of the Niners defense we faced last game. And so it'll be interesting how we have to game plan for this one, because I don't know if we're able to get away with, make the game plan as simple as possible and literally have to take 0 risks. I don't think we'll see a game like that. I think we'll have to see Sam come up with at least a big play, which, to be fair, I said we would need a big play last game too, and we literally needed one singular play to win that game. So we'll see if that actually happens. But
yeah, I was just going to say, I think the 2 keys, at least one for offense, I think just every drive at the bare minimum, obviously want to score touchdowns, obviously. At the bare minimum, end every drive with a kick. We cannot turn the ball over 2, 3, 4 times. Obviously, that comeback was something special. Like Fatty said, it made this team into that great team ever since that game. Ever since just the second half of that game, we've been the best team, unquestioned, in the NFL. But you can't. I don't see us win the game if we got 2, 3, 4 turnovers. It's, to be fair, the Bears actually had that many and were damn close to win the game. But I don't see us win that game unless we can end every drive with a kick. Even if we drive up to like the 42-yard line of our own side of the field, we punt them inside the 10. Good luck going 90 yards consistently against us and scoring. It's something like that. And defensively, it's just stop 12, stop Puka. And we saw the Rams do a really good job of that. They ran heavy man coverage, and that's just that's basically Puka's one of his only weak points, or I guess even just average points. It's just him against man coverage. I mean, even against, the right matchups like Jaquan Brisker gave him fits. Like, if we can negate Puka, I'm confident that, like, it's like, I know it's like, yeah, okay, obviously, but
I don't even know if negate's the word. Just like make him
negated
slightly less than insane. Like, literally just make him a tick below, like, ridiculous, and that's what you gotta do.
The Bears in the passing game made him basically non-existent. Obviously, Puka their whole entire offense, regardless if he's not catching the ball, he's basically like a hybrid tight end for him. So he's going to have some impact on the game, but just limiting those gigantic plays that just fucking gashed us over and over again in the last game. I mean, I don't know if that just means mix in more man coverage looks, but like
We
that
didn't have Julian Love that game.
Huh?
Right.
Yeah, correct. We didn't have
We
Julian
didn't
Love.
have Julian
right?
Love, right? I mean,
We didn't,
not to say he would be necessarily the X factor, but I think it would help us a little bit over the top. We did have Kobe Bryant in over Julian Love, but also it's just like, the other thing about the Seahawks defense that just makes them so hard is like, have fun running the ball, dude. Kyron Williams is not doing shit. I don't care how hard he is to tackle. I don't care if he bitches and moans on the sidelines. That is one guy I cannot stand. And good luck, because now we are on game 26 of not allowing a 100-yard rusher in a row. So I think, if we're going to have Stafford be one-dimensional, yeah, he can't drop 450 on us again. So I think if we make the necessary adjustments, this one, I think it's crazy. This one could be another walk in the park. And I don't know. It's just based on how both teams have been playing. I mean,
let's talk about that. Like, what would need to what's a realistic way that we could actually straight up dog walk the Rams?
I think it's the biggest thing is we just stick to our game. Like Fatty started to say it, but it's like that Niners game, I got scared because you saw it. We went for it on 4th down in the end. We don't do that. We're a boring team. Like I can think if the Seahawks just FU football on defense, and on offense, we just stick to ourselves. We don't take real risks if we don't have to. Run the ball down their throat and don't put ourselves in danger. And this could very easily be a cakewalk. And then don't be stupid against Puka, because there were multiple times in that Bears game, especially on that drive when they went down to win it, where I'm like, dude, like I just don't understand how you leave Puka Nacua, the circled, underscored, starred name that you're looking at all week in practice. You're going to give him that much space wide open. Like there was 1 3rd down where it was like 3rd and 4, and he literally just ran a 4-yard curl route, sat down like at the marker, and no one's within 30 yards of him. I was like, dude, what? As long as we don't have brain dead mistakes like that, I think we could legitimately cakewalk this game.
And I think defensively, it all boils down to at the very start of the game, which the Seahawks do almost better than anybody, is being able to stop the run in nickel personnel. Because even like the Seahawks all year, even if they come out in heavy sets, the Rams love to use 3 tight end sets. We've been able to come out in nickel and still negate the run game. And that's just like, it's so, I mean, more so obviously in the first game, but that was so helpful as like it was the biggest reason why we held them to basically 21 points. That's going to be the key. If we can do that, then it just makes it a whole lot easier against play action. We're going to have better personnel to defend that. If we can do that and we got to shut down the short stuff, because this pass rush, and how do you beat it? You play short. You play short to Puka, to your tight ends. If we can negate that and then take a big lead and they're going to have to push the ball downfield, we can actually get after Matthew Stafford. I think his accuracy is honestly, dude, as good as he's been this year, his accuracy's been pretty spotty. He was lucky to not have a horrible game-changing pick against the Bears. I think if we can shut down the run, shut down the short stuff early, be clean offensively. I think they're down. I don't know if Emmanuel Forbes is going to be out for this game. I saw that he got hurt and went down during the Bears game. If he doesn't play, obviously that's a boost for us. But I think that's the one way where I see us blowing them out, is if establish that run stopping dominance in nickel personnel. Cover the short stuff. That's the only way Puka did anything last game, was on those short stuff. We can stop that. Be good on offense. That's a lot to ask for against the Rams, apparently.
As long as we are good, we will be good. That's what we're taking away from this game.
As long as we can execute no turnovers, Kenneth Walker can just keep Kenneth. Just be Kenneth. If that happens,
just be K9.
Like, I don't think that's crazy to say that we could potentially blow them out. I'm not going to say or be like, we're going to fucking kill these fucks.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
It's on the table. It won't it's not what we think will happen, but it's definitely on the table.
It is on the bro, if
there's a chance we could get blown out. I mean,
basically could. That's really going to happen if Sam melts down.
So basically, if you're asking for our predictions, Either this game, we're going to blow them out, we're going to
Or-
get blown out, or it's going to be a close game. But I'm willing to bet my bank account on one of those three. Okay?
Well,
Is that
yeah,
fair?
I mean, lastly, I think lastly, and then we can move on to our little AFC preview. But lastly, it's just for me, this game is going to be won in the trenches. Okay, it's going to be our defensive line, most importantly, our edge play. We're going to need Derek Hall. We're going to need DeMarcus Lawrence to make Matt Stafford to pressure him, get a couple sacks. I mean, I'm not worried about the run up the middle. Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy have been playing excellent as of late. But we're going to need to pressure Matt into a couple, maybe getting a pick or two. That would be huge. But also on the other side of it, we know the Rams pass rush. We know they're going to blitz heavy against Darnold. That's what caused 4, maybe 5 of the 6 picks that he's thrown to the Rams this year. I mean, fuck. The worst one was when their D lineman dropped in to coverage and picked him off, and he just thought it disguised blitz, and he panicked. So we need our offensive line to be blocking, especially because we're going to be primarily utilizing Kenneth Walker in the running game, as well as Zach Charbonnet. Get well soon, but he is out for the season. So we're not going to be able to be running the ball the smash mouth Navy playbook type. We're going to need to, block creatively to get those windows for Kenneth Walker. I have no doubt that we can do that. We can integrate Kenneth in the passing game as well. You go back and watch Thursday night, he was gashing that defense, but it's all going to be about we really need Gray Zabel and Anthony Bradford to step up in the interior. We got to keep Sam on his feet.
And I will mention, last game against the Rams, no Charles Cross. And that, this little disguised drop, they dropped, I think, Kobe Turner into coverage. The Josh Jones, I believe who it was, just immediately gets shedded. Sam's like, shit! Throws the ball right to Kobe Turner. With Charles Cross, that's not going to happen. That pick doesn't happen. And in that play, if Sam had a half second, even a second of more time, the next window over, JSN touchdown. So there's little things like that, like just a second longer of a block from our backup, maybe even third string left tackle, stuff like that doesn't happen. So it's having Charles Cross back is going to be huge. And since we didn't have him that game, now we get him this game. I think the Seahawks win, man. Of course, I'm going to back the boys. And I will say I'm more confident now than I've ever been in this team. I truly think the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl, and I'm actually confident about. I'm of course it's the Rams. I'm not sitting here downplaying them. They're a great team with a great quarterback and one of the best players in the league, Puka Nacua. They could beat us, of course, but I am confident in the Seahawks team more than I've ever been. So I think the Seahawks get the job done and go to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco.
Is Cam Akers still technically on the Seahawks?
Cam Akers revenge game.
For sure.
That would be
Cam
electric.
Akers, and also to note. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, it would.
No,
be
you can keep going. I was just saying it'd be electric. A Cam Akers. Imagine Kenneth Walker 2 touchdowns, and it's the score's 21-17. We have the ball. 4 minutes left. Kenneth Walker, a couple 3-yard rushes in a row. Third down, for some reason, Cam Akers goes in, and he just puts out a 70-yard touchdown to ice the game.
That'd
be
would
sick.
Be legendary. Well, also
then,
to note that George Holani will be activated off the IR, or he is at least eligible. So I think that is something to monitor. He's definitely the similar archetype to Charbonnet, not saying the same talent level, but it's not like Zach Charbonnet goes down and we just forget how to run the fucking football outside of Kenneth Walker. I mean, Velus Jones Jr., Holani, Cam Akers, we're going to be able to have a change of pace back there. It's just a matter of if we can consistently run the ball. But if I had to do a prediction, I don't really like doing score predictions. I think Seattle will win 30-24.
I think my prediction I had the last couple of days is I think it's going to be high scoring and close. It's the Rams. It's always going to be close. I think it'll be 31-27 Seahawks.
I was going to say we scored 31 points too. So I'll do 31-24 to make it different.
God,
all right. Yeah. So confirmed we won. That's a fact, right? And confirmed over, not a betting podcast, but over is what we're thinking here. This sounds like it should be a pretty fun game, pretty fun outing for the boys. And just clock it in. Cam Akers touchdown is guaranteed to
Anytime
happen.
touchdown score, Cam Akers.
Dude, free money. Free money. Do
Fantasy
not
legend.
bet. Fantasy
Cam Akers
legend for
remains
sure.
great.
Well, should we move over to the other conference? Feel like it's finally at that point where it's fair for us to at least mention what's going on over in the AFC, because based off our predictions, we're going to see them. So we'll make this one quick. Let's put like a 5-minute timer on it.
Okay.
Patriots, Broncos, Drake May versus Stiddy. What are you guys thinking?
You can go first, Fatty.
Well, I mean, the Jaguars, man. I mean, shit, they made it all the way here. And nah, I'm playing. But so I made some observations during the AFC divisional round, because I really wanted to see how the Broncos and the Patriots would react, because obviously they really haven't played that many hard teams throughout the regular season. Obviously the Broncos hosting Josh Allen and ending his season on a rather controversial call, if you will, but they still were able to weather the storm and really hang in there. That was honestly a really fun game. I turned off overtime though, because I'm like, I need to lock in for the Seahawks. But prayers up for Bo Nix. That is unfortunate that he broke his ankle. But this obviously he's not the X factor of the Denver Broncos. It is that stifling defense. Not saying Jared Stidham's gonna step in and keep that production level up, but he's an experienced veteran quarterback in a what's his name? Shit, why am I Sean Payton's system? Why did I forget his name?
Sean Payton's also infatuated with Stiddy. He loves that guy.
Right.
He absolutely
And so
loves him.
He's a student of the game, former Patriot. So yeah, and on the other side, it was interesting to see how Drake May handled such a great defense that he honestly struggled. I mean, he's fumbled the ball 4 times, recovered it 3, and was able to hang in there. I do think the Patriots defense right now is really looking good, playing for Mike Vrabel. I think this would be kind of a blowout if it was in Foxborough, but the fact that the Patriots have to travel to Mile High, I think it's going to be a very, very close game. If Stidham can, rise to the hype and keep up with Drake May. But I honestly think the Patriots are the better of 2. But I think that even if Bo Nix was healthy, I just think the Patriots are the better team. So I do think the Patriots are gonna pull this one out. And it just sucks. Injuries suck this late in the season. Both have had great seasons. But I mean, shit. This is the loser of Super Bowl 60 Bowl. I'm sorry. Even if we don't advance, they're losing to Los Angeles. But yeah, the Patriots I'll have winning, let's say 28-17.
Yeah. For me, I think if you had to rank the top 3 human beings currently alive, I think Mike McDonald's number 1, of course, obviously. And then I would put Drake May in the top 3. Like I just think Drake May is spectacular. I think obviously, he's 23 years old, goes against the Chargers defense, which is very good. Then goes against if not for the Seahawks legendary potentially defense, that Texans defense, man, it's absolutely insane. I think they have comfortably a better pass rush than we do. Will Anderson Jr., if not for Myles Garrett, would be the defensive player of the year in my opinion. Obviously got Derek Stingley, Kamari Lass. Like, they're loaded. That team is just absolutely loaded. And it doesn't look pretty. Of course, that offensive line was getting brutalized. It was tough, and the weather was not good. It was hard to hold on to the football. And again, Drake May's 23 years old, but the only dude to have three or more passing touchdowns against that defense and have over 100 passer rating. I think games like that test the young Drake May, prepare him for games like they'll have in the AFC Championship. And for the Broncos, I think this team was never a Bo Nix-led team. This team was built on their defense. This team was built on their offensive scheme, their offensive line. They might get J.K. Dobbins back, so their run game could be there. And listen, Jared Stidham's like, I'm not going to sit here and act like he's, a starting quarterback in the league. We haven't seen him play in a while, but his recent games, whether it's preseason or just like for the Raiders, he looks competent. He can make a lot of good, solid throws. And as long as he can run the system and not turn the ball over, the Broncos, like, don't get this twisted. The Broncos have a very good chance of winning the game. I don't think it's all hope is lost because Bo Nix is out. Obviously,
For sure.
Bo Nix can do things that Stidham can't do with his legs and seems to have that clutch factor. But this game is a very winnable game at home for the Denver Broncos. I still don't think it's going to be enough. I think Drake May in his sophomore season wins the MVP, takes takes the Patriots to the Super Bowl, only to lose to whoever comes out of the NFC. But nonetheless, I think the Pats get it done. So
Just for the sake of it, I'll have some faith in Steady, so we'll be 2-1. They're gonna somehow pull up some improbable upset. Some dumb stuff's gonna happen. Some mile high magic, and they're gonna win an ugly game. And Sean Payton's gonna put up some master plan. And I think weirdly, I think Bo Nix being in like the fact that there's a whole week leading up to this game of like all the Stidham talk, I feel like is gonna let the Broncos like fly under the radar. Like when I saw the line get posted at 5.5, purely off of Steady being their quarterback, I thought it was gonna be bigger because I thought there was gonna be more glaze for Drake May. And so I'll say it. Steady's going to get it done. Broncos will win it. I'm not going to give a score prediction.
it's very possible. And listen, just one more point. That Denver defense has a very, very good pass rush, and that's been the biggest problem for the Patriots this postseason is they're getting to Drake May like very early and very often, getting to him, and it's causing a lot of problems. So that defense can easily get to him. Easily, Drake May's going to turn the ball over that game. Probably going to be, forced fumble for one of the guys on the pass rush, but like this is not an easy game. And if the Broncos win, would not be shocked.
Yeah, no, I mean for sure. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a condensed game of the NFC Championship, and this one's before the NFC Championship, so it's perfect preview. I think it's still gonna be a great game versus two great teams. I just don't think there's gonna be a lot of more. There's not gonna be fireworks necessarily per se. So,
Well, I think that's enough talking about the other conference. Doesn't matter, as Fatty mentioned. The winner of this gets to lose to us in the Super Bowl. So let's move on. We went a little over 5 minutes there, 7.5 minutes. But let's introduce a fun little segment we're doing today. We're going Seattle shopping. We're each taking a team. I'll be the Kraken. Brody's got the Sounders. Fatty will be all Mariners. We're each going to let's just give two. Let's give two players that we're going shopping for. So for all three of the teams, it's, this time of year, bring some new faces in. Let's start with the team we haven't got to cover much lately because they're freshly into their preseason training. Brody, who do you want to see the Seattle Sounders go shopping for?
Yeah, so I actually started my list and then realized due to the recent Sounders trades of 4 international roster spots, I thought it was 2. I still thought we had spots open. We did not, so I'm barring another trade to get one back. I just crossed out everything I worked on, so that was cool. I've narrowed my options down to 2 positions, and I've narrowed down to a center back, which I'll explain more, and I narrowed it down to obviously a striker, of course. Given what we're working with here, we got some GAM to work with, but ultimately, I want to utilize those U22 spots. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but those are the real spots where, of course, we can make another in-league trade potentially, and it could work out. But realistically, if we're trading in league, it's got to be for an American, and all the good Americans, they're not up for trade. So it would have to be someone kind of mid, and I don't want that for us. Okay, I want young guys with a lot of upside that could potentially be home run hits for this team. This team has already got depth. The team is already steady. The team's already got a high floor, man. I don't want another a floor raising guy. I want to swing for the fences. I want to try and nail a player that's going to bring us to
you want to nail an American, bro? What the
I want
fuck?
to nail an American abroad that's going to help us win an MLS Cup. First player I got, and this is going to be someone that we're going to have to, I specifically saved it for the summer window because, damn it, we fucking need a summer signing, okay? And I'm going for Damian Downs, American striker on loan in Germany, returns in the summer. This is going to be a player we're going to have to spend a fee on, of course, but he's 21 years old. He will fit under the U22 incentive. Very talented striker. Like that's the kind of name that you're looking for, given the slots we have open. I think he would be a good addition. I think he could honestly. I think he has the potential to hit the ground running. The finishing can be a bit inconsistent, but moving to the MLS after playing in abroad in a stronger league, maybe it just comes a lot easier to him. Maybe he's grown a lot. So I would like that for us. And then the second signing would be a center back, which seems like it sounded like over the course of the last few years, the Sounders, it's been like, oh, center back loaded. Yamar's one of the best defenders in the league. Reagan, honestly, kind of moving his way up there as well. You got young Stuart Hawkins. Kim Ki-hee, you had John Bell for a long time, but you lose John Bell. Yamar is going to be 34 years old. Jackson Reagan, we've got him mocked down, but could you I could be convinced of a world where Jackson Reagan wants to move abroad and test himself in Europe potentially. I mean, I could see a team come calling for him. He's got that style, that play out of the back style that a lot of teams in Europe like to utilize. That could potentially happen, but even if he stays, you're looking at a room that could potentially just be him and Stuart Hawkins. Like Kim Ki-hee doesn't have a lot of time left. Like I said, Ymar doesn't. So I would go with another young center back, a name that avid MLS fans might be familiar with, even USMNT fans. It's Joshua Winder. Plays in Benfica, has been playing a lot for their second team. He's a guy that we could get at not too hefty of a fee. He's played most of his ball in the States. Very talented player. I think that could be a signing that could be very beneficial to us. Makes us younger at a position where we're kind of getting up there in age. Very talented guy. I think that would be a good move. And like I said, we're so limited with what we can do just based on our budget constraints. I tried looking at a center back that was around the league that we could get with our GAM, but the only real good American ones, they're not, since he's not trading Miles Robinson, like the Vancouver Whitecaps, if they get Blackman back, they're not going to trade Blackman.
If he's
and
not
just guys like
on
that,
his way
Walker
already,
Zimmerman just got signed. They're not going to trade him. Just like maybe Matt Miazga, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm more intrigued. I'm more intrigued
I
by
don't know
the
if the
younger
Sounders
guy.
would be going for that good of I think you have to go younger. I don't know if the Sounders are able to swing for the fences in a move like that, but I don't see a need or a why we would go shoot for a Matt Miazga type of guy, because as much as they're getting old, if we're going for a guy like that, that needs to be a post Ymar leaving type of move, a post Reagan leaving type of move. We can't really have those fully lined up until one of those two is out the door. And
exactly,
so,
yeah. But meanwhile, you could sign the young guy, have him learn behind one of the, honestly, an all-time MLS great at the position. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And you could have him learn. But behind him and Reagan as well, even Kim Ki-hee's a championship winning center back. Communication could be an issue, but I just think it's a good situation for a young center back to be in, and that would be a signing I look to make. And he's not, wouldn't require an international spot, so that's really what we're limited to here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think the Sounders kind of have their hands tied, and I like the idea of getting that depth in the center back position. I don't know if Damian Downs would be willing to come back to MLS right now. I don't know if Southampton would be willing to part ways with him fully, sell him. But even if it's bring him in on a loan for some way, do something fun, and that'd be something fun. And Damian Downs just called in this past summer into the full national team. That is a type that type of name is what would really get the Sounders excited. And
exactly,
Sounders fan base. I mean, especially pre-World Cup, those those borderline fans who are last summer, I'm going to watch some U.S. men's national team, get to know the fellas before the World Cup. They'd recognize a name like Damian Downs, which would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and just one last thing, again, I tried to look for strikers, American strikers that we could use. We got a good amount of GAM, I think over 1 million easily this year. And there's just who are you going to trade for, dude? Duncan McGuire? No, I'm good. I'm good off that, little bro. I'm not interested. Other than that, it's Brian White. Yeah, dude, I'm sure the Whitecaps will give up Brian White. But
if we could get Brian White in this team, I would be so happy.
I would.
I love Brian White.
Never gonna happen.
I wish he played for any team but the Whitecaps, dude.
Yeah, to a rival. Yeah, good luck, buddy. It's just no chance. That to me, Damian Downs is the only dude where, it's not entirely unrealistic. Yeah, he probably wants to stay in Europe, but at the same time, he could sign here, play a few good years in the MLS, still be 24, 25 when it's time to make another move. I mean, bro, like Jesus Ferreira at one point was like 20 years old. We're like, get him to Europe, and he's 24, 25, still chilling in the MLS. So, and like he could make a move. He's still young enough, so it could be something like that sort of a situation. And he's a player that could excite fans. Young, a lot of potential. Like you said, some fans will recognize him from his limited time with the USMNT. Really, these are the only two moves that, given what we have, and I didn't want to just be like, oh, let's just chuck in a hypothetical. What if we cut Jordan Morris? Then let's go sign Mbappe.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say something like that, but yeah.
No, that's fair. So, needless to say, the Sounders are pretty handcuffed right now, but we still have hope. Another team that I think has a little more hope from the fan base right now, Seattle Mariners. Fatty, who are the Seattle Mariners shopping for?
Okay, sweet. So yeah, with the Mariners, it's a little bit interesting. We're nearing pitchers and catchers report and the World Baseball Classic next month, so that is very exciting. Free agency has slowed down a little bit after Alex Bregman signed with the Cubs. Kyle Tucker went to the Dodgers, so on and so forth. Those were guys that the Mariners were never in on, nor really necessarily needed to put them over the edge. But that being said, I do have a couple new ones that I've been thinking about. So I got two new guys for Mariners fans to potentially get hyped about. Number one is third baseman, or I guess it'd be utility player, Yoan Moncada. He recently played for the Angels last year, but he was a former top prospect in the Boston system. Got traded over to the White Sox, had a terrible time there. He led the league in strikeouts, but has thus developed a little bit of a power tool. I don't want to compare him to the GOAT, but a lot of a Jorge Polanco type profile with a third base type archetype in the field. He's a switch hitter. He can hit for power. There's some positional versatility there. I think he can fit into our lineup very well. So yeah, that would be a great option. Something really cheap. Another one is Mariners GM Justin Hollander said the team is aggressively still looking to add to the bullpen, which I agree with. I feel like our bullpen has been weak ever since our first playoff run in 2022 when it was full strength. I mean, it didn't matter who was going in. They were getting 3 outs. The last couple of years, it hasn't been that strong. So the more the merrier. And I think a guy that would be cool as kind of a reclamation project, the Mariners seem to like those kind of guys, is former closer Jose Leclerc. He's been around in the AL West with the Rangers and most recently the Athletics. But this is a low risk, potential high reward former closer. I think he'd be great as a righty, maybe sixth inning, seventh inning guy. And yeah, I think he would be good. But just there's plenty of guys out there still to give flyers. I anticipate during spring training we try out a couple. Yeah, if I'm going shopping, let's go get Yoan Moncada and Jose Leclerc and have a ball game.
The last time I've seen that guy play, every time I watch, obviously I don't watch baseball too often, must admit. Every time I watch Jose Leclerc pitch, he can't finish an inning. I just noticed every single time I watch that guy play, he just gets absolutely lit up. I didn't watch one all because maybe 10 people watched the Oakland A's, so I don't know how he did last year, but every time I watch that guy, I feel bad for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, the Mariners love a project like that. They'll love to take someone like that and make him into a stud. So we'll take that either way.
Right.
And I feel like those are two options that are very like Mariner-esque, where it's like high upside, low risk, and we can kind of make him into whatever. And fans outside of the Seattle Mariners won't know these names until October. You know what I mean?
And they seem like they're reasonably attainable, right?
For sure. I mean, and you got to think within the Mariners' budget. I think these guys could be, you throw $1 million or $2 million out to each of them and they're going to sign just the fact they want to keep playing in the majors. And these guys are not going to be, organizational changing, but they're filling some holes that we desperately need to fix to, hang in there with the Blue Jays, Yankees, the Red Sox in the American League. So, but nevertheless, I mean, we got to do something. Guys, because we're coming up with it. And the baseball free agency is just so goddamn slow.
Yeah, it feels like it's been like uncomfortably slow. Feels like I see all these rumors every week. Jeff Passan tweeting everything out. And then I just got all excited just to never see the Mariners involved in any of it. But we'll see. It's also very Mariners-esque to, I don't know, have the fan base disappointed and stuff like this, and then we end up making some bangers. So we'll see. But I think it's time. I'll shift us over to the ice. The Seattle Kraken. I think of these teams, the Kraken are the one that will have the most pressure to kind of start to make these moves soon because the roster freeze is coming up quick. So with the Olympics, February 4th to the 22nd, rosters are frozen, no trades can be made, and then it unlocks, and then a couple weeks goes into March for the actual trade deadline. And I'm seeing a lot of speculation that this essentially is going to have 2 trade deadlines this year because teams are going to want to get their business done before that market freeze because that's 3 weeks basically where you can't do nothing. And so I have 2 guys that I think are realistic for the Kraken to get, and both, if we were to get them, are okay whether or not we end up being a playoff contender or not. So the first one is Nick Robertson of the Toronto Maple Leafs, brother of Robo on the Dallas Stars. So name people will kind of be familiar with. He's 24 years old, was drafted a couple years ago in the second round by the Leafs, but he's kind of been exiled a bit by the team. He has 10 goals, 13 assists in 45 games, but he's only on a 1-year contract right now, 1.8 mil. So it'll be fully a rental for a young guy, an RFA at the end of the year, where this is very much a Kraken signing where high upside, has good shot on him, can turn into a goal scorer. But if he ends up being a nothing burger, he can walk at the end of the year. So I think that's a good guy to target. And then he's honestly been bad enough this year where who knows, maybe he does okay. The Kraken like him, and then we throw him a cheap contract and he's just another, fits that MO of the Kraken where kind of throw him anywhere in the lineup and it makes sense. I mean, we've seen him play on the first line in Toronto. Now he's dwindling a little bit lower in the lineup. But yeah, and then moving on, this is another guy who, by the dip, I've said his name multiple times on this show already. St. Louis Blue winger. It's clear the Kraken teams need goals. That's our biggest problem. We need to find goals on the wing. I think Jordan Kyrou is a realistic option. So he's on the worst year of his career, 8 goals, 12 assists in 39 games. But the last 3 seasons, he's had 30 goals plus, 65 points plus, and he's only 27 years old. Like, this is a guy who is competing to be on the Canadian team, like legit goal scorer. And I don't know what it is, but that whole Blues team has kind of been a mess this year. So I think if we can go get him. There's been speculation twice now. There was at the draft last year and then one other time before where there's been links with us and Jordan Kyrou. And so I think he's realistic, he's attainable, and his contract isn't terrible, right around $8 million. He's in year 3 of 8. So it expires at his age 33 season. He's 27 years old right now. But in terms of the current cap, the cap's only going up right now. $8 million for a guy who can be a 70-point, 30-plus goal scorer is not bad. And if they're willing to let him walk and we can get him for not much, the Kraken are pretty good in terms of draft picks, in terms of our farm system. Like, there is a possibility where maybe we don't have to give up what you'd usually have to give up for a guy of this upside. I was going to throw a couple more names in here, but the Sabres got good. So Alex Tuck's off the table. I think he was off the table no matter what because he's from Syracuse and loves being a Sabre. And I wanted to say Nazem Kadri, but I don't think they'd trade him in division to us. And I don't think the Kraken would be willing to pay what it'll cost to get a cup winner like that. But the last thing I'll say is if this stretch keeps going where we're going to keep kind of starting to plummet, which I don't know. It's hard to tell right now because we just got off a brutal road trip. That East Coast trip is never easy for anyone. But I'm also willing to go shopping for some draft picks if we have to for a Jaden Schwartz, a Jamie Alexiak, or a Jared McCann, depending on what we get. But we'll see. We got roughly 2.5 weeks till that freeze, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move around the Kraken in the next couple of weeks. Maybe give it a week to see how our form goes, and then, I don't know, we'll make a move from there. But I think that's enough shopping for the fellas. I think all the Seattle teams have gone shopping. We're going a little long, but I think we still got time to do a quick little fire and ice. You think so? We'll run through it real quick.
Yep.
Brody, who is on fire for you?
Rapid fire.
Haha, nice. Rapid fire.
Nice. Wait. Oh, that's funny because the segment that we're doing is, I get it, dude. That's so fucking funny. Fire for me, Seattle Seahawks players on Twitter. I mean, it's been amazing. And I've, like I said, very early on, that rivalry juice is starting to come back. Like I'm starting to feel like the young guys, especially, are really starting to hate the 49ers again. And shout out to Nick Emanwari, man, because just every social media post, every Instagram live, every single tweet he's made, it's just fuck the 49ers. You guys suck. You brought this fake energy, snatching our fans' signs, ripping it up, all that to lose by 35. And not just him, but Tariq Woolen calling out unks. What's that? They Niners had this old safety they used to call like Hittner or something like that. And that dude just got fried by Tariq. He's like, hey, Unk, put some respect in our name, Unk. And it's just been awesome. It's been awesome to see the young guys on the Seahawks team just lighten every single fan, old player, new player, whatever you want to call it, just lighten them up on Twitter. It's been awesome. And on ice, it's going to be, sadly, Zach Charbonnet's knee for the next 9 months. It's going to be on ice. And it sucked because I will say I've never seen a dude tear their ACL, then just speed walk, sprint to the locker room, come back out.
Is it confirmed that's an ACL?
It's confirmed it's an ACL tear. And I've never seen a dude with an ACL tear speed walk, sprint to the locker room, come back out, use the bike like they're going to come back into the game. And then all of a sudden, and then our coaching staff goes, oh, okay, everything seems to be intact. All for it to be an ACL tear. Never seen that in my life. I was confident it was nothing. Another, like, at least, something that's not this long term, but sadly it is. And, Charbonnet's knee is going to need that ice pack for the next 9 months, sadly. But hopefully we can go ahead and win the Super Bowl for Bro. Avenge his torn knee, and it's my fire and ice.
Hey, I love it. Quick, rapid fire. Fatty, what about you?
Rapid fire. On fire for me is Zach Charbonnet's counterpart, Kenneth Walker. Bro is in demon mode right now, running the ball like it's his contract year. It's like, oh wait, it is. Have we forgot that it is Kenneth Walker's contract year, and he's like, oh shit, I'm about to make $10 million more each game I fucking ball out. So he's been healthy all year. He's been running like a madman. And go get your money, Kenneth. We're gonna need you for 2 more games. We hope to re-sign you, but dude has been on another level. So I hope that he can become the X factor we need on offense against the Rams. I truly think he's going to be the one. So yeah, on fire. Kenneth Walker. Loved his segment with Tom Brady saying go green to Michigan's finest, Tom Brady. On ice is, unfortunately, Felix Hernandez's Hall of Fame chances this year. I don't understand what the methodology of it. This would be an episode of its own. I don't understand what the writers aren't seeing. Felix Hernandez is a Hall of Famer. He obviously missed the cut last year. This is his second year on the ballot. He gets 5 years. People are projecting that he is slowly going to gain more votes. He's gained more votes this year, but it seems like, the writers are showing a little maybe East Coast bias. They were never really favored. He pitched for a lot of bad Mariner teams, but his dominance was unprecedented. He is a Hall of Famer, but he unfortunately is not going to be one this class. So that is my on ice. Unfortunately, we love you, King Felix.
Wait, so real quick, so they have a 5-year window, and then they can never ever go on again.
Never ever.
Damn. I know it was like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Terrible. That's all I got to say about
it. But he'll get in. He will get in.
Hopefully, I hope so.
He better. Well, I'll end us off. I'll start with my on ice. On ice is parking at Lumen Field because there's been photos going around on Twitter, on Instagram, that parking around the stadium was at a minimum $110 for last game. Projected to go up for NFC Championship, and they're projecting minimum parking prices for the World Cup to be $200. So that is my on ice because
I am not watching Egypt versus Iran for that kind of money, dude. I will not be doing that. You have beef with Lumen Field, man.
That's but they've redeemed themselves a little bit. So this will be a little longer than rapid fire, but on fire. The Pro Shop is back. We are back on good terms. Long story short, I called them the other day and I was like, hey, can I just talk to a manager? Let's just cut this. Let's just cut this. And they're like, you know what? Okay. What's your name? What's your problem? I gave him a quick run. They're like, okay. Manager, answer right away. Shout out the legend, Calvin. If you hear this, you're a legend. He immediately is just like, Jordan, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Your jerseys are right here. I'll confirm your address with you. I'll ship it to you. And then we'll give you a full refund. So after
Oh,
3 months, after 3 months of waiting,
Wow.
the jerseys have arrived with this much money out of my pocket. So,
Phenomenal stuff, dude. That's insane.
so you know what? I'll keep my season tickets. I'll keep them.
I
just-
guess so. Like we do one more.
guess
Actually,
so.
I want to do one more quick sneaky fire. Just Lumen Field. Just Lumen Field. The crowd in general, by the way, they showed up
Electric.
big time. Like Fatty said, a lot of red you saw, and you're like, oh shit. But they set off another damn earthquake, dude. Another earthquake. The Shaheed quake, and I suspect it'll be even more packed because the Rams, they might have 200 fans total, maybe. I suspect it'll be even more packed. But just shout out on fire, Lumen Field, and let's just get even hotter.
I mean, it's going to be insane. The Cam Akers earthquake is just going to be nuts on Sunday.
Velus
Yeah,
Jones.
None
Velus Jones Jr.
quick.
Fuck yeah.
fit that into an earthquake meme. Nonetheless, boys, thanks for listening. We're running a little long today, but you know what? We're excited to talk about. Brody got all dressed up just for this episode. If you're enjoying the pods, if you're enjoying everything, drop us a follow on X, on TikTok, on Instagram. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like. Boys, we said it last time, but we're a Wednesday podcast. Turn your sound on every Wednesday. See Brody dressing up in his nicest clothes for you guys. You see Fatty, pure passion. Boys, we will see you guys next week.